Hello, and welcome to the Playful Life. I am your host, Crystal, the Playful Trainer. Thank you for being here with us this morning, or if you're, of course, watching this recorded somewhere, thanks for tuning in. I want to say thank you to Ron Harlow for supporting and hosting the Playful Life on Ron Harlow Media. Be sure to check him out. He is on in the afternoons from 4 to 6, but again, you can always catch his show here on Facebook anytime. And the cheeky mom, Erin Alice, she has been an amazing host of her Cheeky Mom show. And if you haven't checked her out, guys, she's got such great humor, and she just has a really awesome perspective as a mom out there, especially with all the things that are going on in the world with like school and all this stuff. So be sure to check her out. She's on Ron Harlow Media every Wednesday at 10 a.m., but you can also find her show anytime and tune into that as well. Also, a reminder that the Playful Life here is brought to you by the Playful Journal. It's a 12-week guide to a more playful life. You could do it in 12 weeks, 12 days, 12 months, however you want to do it. I think it works best as a weekly journal, but some people want to move through it faster, so totally up to you. You can get that on Amazon. Search the Playful Journal on Amazon, or you can get it from me and get it signed. I also want to invite you to take the challenge. Keep things simple and do something for your health. Now is the best time to really focus on you, to get some healthy habits going in your life, kick some of those bad habits out, and just find a system that works for you and your health. So I encourage you to reach out about that. My next challenge starts on August 1st. It's 21 days, simple nutrition, simple ways to exercise and get a routine, and most importantly, a community that's going to be there to support you. And speaking of community and having people around you to lift you up and help you rise, my guest today, Shannon Heater, has been such a blessing in my life. And I love how, God and the universe just brings people into your life and brings people together. And she has such an incredible story too about how that's been working in her life as well. She is an intuitive counselor, and I'll let her explain a little bit more about what that means. But she has been helping people for years to break out and have life-changing experiences. And now she has finally answered the call on her life, and she has taken a giant leap forward in her life and in her career. And guys, it is scary. It's scary. And she's going to, tell you about her journey with it. But she did a couple really important pivotal things. She hired a coach and she said yes to herself. So I would love to introduce you all to Shannon. She is back with us on the Playful Life. Hello.
Hey, hello. Thank you so much for that. That was sweet. I appreciate it.
I meant every word of it was so true.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So Shannon, you are, ready to embark on this whole new journey in your life, which is so incredibly exciting. And I would love for our viewers and our audience to kind of hear, what was that like? Because when we spoke, or when I had you on the podcast, you were like my second guest that I have on the podcast, like months ago, right? Earlier this year, I believe. You had a lot of these ideas kind of floating around, and you were getting ready to get ready, kind of. And so now something has happened where you have said, yes, I'm going for it. I'm moving towards that goal. So walk us through that. What was that like for you?
Okay. Well, I will start back then with the podcast that we did before. I knew in my heart that I wanted to do something different, and that my life was kind of taking a different path. But I had a million ideas and no real clarity at first. And then I did a few like free master classes online just to kind of look into that world and get some information. And it definitely was like, oh yeah, this is what I need to do. I ended up hiring a coach then a business coach, and it turned out to be way more than I expected in the best possible way. Such a blessing, huge changes, lots of growth. So how that looked for me was, when we did the podcast before, had no idea that a quarantine was coming, that the pandemic, we had no idea. And so, like with many people, that really shook things up. So I kind of abandoned the idea for a little bit. And then when I started to see like, oh, we're stuck at home. That's when I ended up hiring the coach and, for a little bit.
Oh, that's me.
I was like,
just sharing a watch party.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Thank you. I was like, did I do that? Technology, not my thing at all. I'm so bad.
It's getting to be your thing. It's getting to be your thing.
I'm learning so much. So, and I'm not like screaming, am I? Is this good volume?
No.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So, yeah, so during the quarantine, that's when, like at the beginning, I mean, major changes happened. So I want to tell you how that goes along. It's so easy to, when you look back, you're just like, yeah, I said yes, but it was a very emotional journey. It was frightening. I was terrified. I've been a hairdresser for as long as I know. And the idea of, I went back to school to do psychology and I knew I wanted to help in that way, but it's kind of like the closer that gets, the more you're like, no, I'm not ready. No. But then, I kept studying, and I knew, well, I'm not doing hair. So what am I going to do? And then as I took the course, the whole beginning of this business course, like, okay, how do you do business? How do you charge for things you did for free for like ever? And turned out to be more of like a lot of mindset work, which is super important. Also what I do, but I wasn't looking at it like it was going to come at me. So the next thing that happened that was kind of deciding was right before I hired the coach. I was completely in, and then I was completely out, and I was like, no, can't do this. I can't do an investment right now. I have no money coming in. I have, I can't do it. I had some money stashed, but it was like, that's all I have. Oh no. Which totally not good to live like that, because then that's what you get, And through a couple of events, for one example, I went to the beauty supply because they were open where you could go in with like only 5 people at a time in the store. And I'm in the way back of the line, and the lady at the front desk was flipping out, but not in not in a mean way. She's going, I'm just so stressed. I don't know what to do. I need a therapist. And how do I find a therapist right now? And I mean, she was like almost in tears, very upset. And I was like, okay, I hear you. Oh, okay. It's time. I ended up hiring the coach on the last day before her like deadline to be like, this is it. So I started that, and met some amazing people. And that was a huge leap of faith for me. Just that in itself took a lot of courage, a lot of trust, a lot of prayers and meditating, and like, just really focusing on, is this what I want to do? So I definitely did the right thing. Through the course, a couple of times, it's like, when I look at it, I think it's been better than any therapy I've had. And it's like an instant support group. There's all these women in the same course at the same time. And whenever I'm stuck on something or I was struggling, they just show up and have helped me in ways that I just didn't even know possible. So when people talk about like finding your tribe, I was like, here's my tribe. Here they are.
Yes.
And what I keep telling people through this, I still have her for another couple of weeks. So I'm excited, I'm glad about that. And I keep telling people, it's like when you align with what you're supposed to be doing, and you're not living in fear, and you're saying yes to yourself and yes to life, something shifts. It feels like magic. It is just, it's nature, but it's the nature of things, but it feels magical. And you can't help but be ignited and just feel so excited that not only am I doing what I believe I'm supposed to do, um, it's so full of joy that even on the hard things, even when I get stuck on something, my underlying feeling of this is joy. And so it's so much easier to navigate through. And I know, like, how do you translate that? This is going to be translated into every day of my life. It's not just a business course that I'm going through. It's not just a new business that I'm starting.
100%.
Yeah, and it goes both ways. The stuff that I'm getting, I'm also giving out. And it's just been an incredible, as you said, level up during quarantine. I feel like I tried to use this time to really, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, but to do the inner work, to really, I mean, if you're stuck at home, why avoid? Why, I binge watched a lot at first. Okay. I was watching Netflix, I was watching my shows, and then the shows ended. And you know what? I was like, I'm not going to start a new thing. Like, I'm going to work on me. I'm going to do the things that I need to do. And so, yeah, that's been happening. And even setting up my office, like, I'm just popping around and doing, I'm going to paint that wall back there. I'm going to do some things, and I had, before this, I had no energy to do anything. I was just like, feeling what everyone was feeling, like when, yes, we're sitting at home. Yes, we're not doing anything. We're not like exerting a lot of energy at the beginning, and everyone was really tired. It's like, I have so much energy now. It's just amazing. I love it. And
it's called momentum.
Yeah, it's
right?
going. It's going.
It is. It's momentum. Once you're on the train and it's moving, there's no stopping it.
Yeah.
There's no stopping it.
And that's like, I want to bottle that and give it to people. And I'm like, hey, take this. This is so good. This is good stuff. So yeah, and people do notice. Two things. For 4th of July, my family had a very small little get together, and I hadn't seen some of this family in like years. And other than Facebook, right? And my brother was just like, man, what is going on with you? He's just like, you look great. And I'm like, I haven't lost any weight or anything, And he's like, well, like, usually you think that. And he's like, no, something's different about you. Something's just different. He's like, you just look, and he struggled with it. And he's like, happy. Like, yes. That was kind of my first little indication that things were, what was happening on the inside was actually showing on the outside, finally, And then the second one was the funniest thing ever. So last week, actually just a few days ago, I was doing something in here, taking notes, doing something. And my daughter came in because she was like, Mom, can I have a snack? And I was like, yeah, and I'm just talking to her for a minute. She goes, I have never seen you so happy in my life. And I'm like, what? She's 10. So, all 10 years, but she just goes, I was like, what do you mean? And I'm happy. I'm a silly person. I like to joke around and laugh all the time. But she could see it too. And she was picking up that something's different. So I just feel so much peace. I feel like I'm definitely in line with what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm walking that path and it feels so good. And ironically enough, that was the inspiration I had before all of this began, was to write about alignment and getting out of survival mode and aligning with your purpose and your true self is how you get out of survival mode. And thriving, that word just keeps coming to me. And I'm like, that's what's happening. I'm now thriving And I had to kind of go through that so that I have even more to tell. I mean, I've already been through getting out of survival mode for several years, but it's finally clicking that what thriving is and how to get there. And so I guess the universe was like, hey, one more lesson, one more just to,
yeah.
yeah.
And we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but it seems like a message will come up, right, for us that, you know, the universe is giving us. And then that message keeps popping up, right? So it's like, I always love visuals. So I think about it like I'm going to go somewhere. I don't know, wherever. I'm taking a road trip to Toronto, right?
Okay.
And like, you go, okay, well, I know Toronto's my destination, right? And then you go, well, what's in Toronto? I don't even know. I don't know. There's some salad bar I want to go to. Who knows? So then you keep seeing these billboards, right? For like, 8 more miles until Green Paradise Salad Bar or something, right? And then something down the road says, best salads on earth at Green Paradise, or whatever. This place doesn't exist, by the way. I'm just making this up, but
we're gonna look.
I might be speaking this into existence as I'm talking, but it's one of those things. Like you have this destination, and then you think, well, what are the things that are at that destination, or what are some of the things I want to do on the way? And then all of a sudden, all these like road signs pop up in your way that like, yes, you're on the right path. You're close. You're getting there, right? And it's like, it's exciting when that happens.
Yes. It's just so like, I mean, and I just took a drink of my coffee and I just went to Target and it says, I don't know if you can see that. Anyways, it says, there we go.
Oh, there it is.
And Thrive. And I was at a friend's house 2 weeks ago and I was kind of telling her a little bit about it. And she says, oh, hold on a minute, and goes to a closet and pulls out this painting that she did, and it's actually behind me. I don't know if you could see. I'm gonna move this around. You see that?
Oh wow, yeah.
Thrive, like, come on. She goes,
that's awesome.
I just took this down. It's been sitting in my closet, and I knew it was for someone, but I didn't know who. I didn't want to get rid of it, and I'm telling her this, and she's like, I had something. So I just thought that was so funny.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I just, there we go. Doing a phone call. I'm like, no.
It begins.
I know. I'm like, oh, they don't even know I'm not normally awake till like right now, but so yeah, it's been pretty awesome though, just to see the changes in myself, that it's infectious. The more that you're living your dream, the more like people see that and they're drawn to it. And I have no doubt that this is going to be good things. Helping people has always been my passion. I talked about this before, probably on the first podcast, just that, I love doing hair. It's kind of a natural thing because my mom and my grandma did it. But truly, if I really whittle everything away, I like science. So I like the science part of it. And I like the art. So it's a very creative process. But the core of why I did what I did was the interactions with people, working with people one-on-one directly. It's just what I live for. And putting a smile on someone's face, or holding their hand when they're crying, whatever it may be, which happened a lot in my chair. People were like, why do I always cry? I'm like, because you need to get it out, and you can just get it out, and we're going to, and you'll be, gorgeous by the time we're done, and it's fine.
That's right.
So, but yeah, definitely, I knew on my heart that this is what I was supposed to do. And there was a million reasons why I could have stopped myself. My brain was like, no, we can't do that, And so basically the last step really was to hire that coach for the mindset, because it really got me ready. It helped me to recognize those defeating thoughts, limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
Yes. Our brains want to derail us, and it sounds funny to say that because it's the same area that keeps you alive, same area of your brain, but we're not being threatened by tigers, so we can let go of that survival brain, right? Stay home, no.
Right.
You're not going to get eaten by a tiger if you leave your house. Leave
It's
your
true.
baby. So, I really needed to go through that. And because even that, I put in my own brain was like, why would people want to hire you? Why would they want help, from you? And I'm like, man, I had to work through that stuff really good. I had to be very real with myself. And the fact that I had to be real with myself proves that people will need that. People do need that. And they will be, they need someone to help them be real with their self and say, what's actually going on here, so that they can get out of survival mode and thrive and live your best life.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So I would love to talk to you a little bit about the difference between surviving and thriving, because people may even think that they are thriving, right? If they maybe look around, they say, well, I have all this stuff, right? I drive a nice car and I live in a nice house. And so what would you say to somebody if you were, not only as like you're saying or mentioned that survival is very much a physiological thing, like fight or flight, and that our bodies and our brains, like our number one objective of our physiological self is to survive. So that is always going to be to gravitate towards the comfort zone, right? And say, no, I don't know, that seems kind of scary over there. I don't think I want to make 10 phone calls to strangers today. I think I'm just going to stay over here. So that's a huge part of it too. But what would you say to people? Like, how do you know if you're thriving? How do you, like, what does that even look like for somebody when they start to thrive?
Okay, I'm definitely going to get into that, but I want to address something that you brought up with the survival, because sometimes, well, first of all, our brains like to always see the negative first, so I'm going to get that out of the way. Survival mode. At first, and I even personally thought, well, I haven't had an easy life. I've had some hard things, and I survived all of it. And you wear that almost like a badge, like, yeah, I survived. And so it seems positive, and coping even. And it occurred to me one day that coping is great, but it's not thriving, because it helps you. It's good. There's a purpose in it, and you need to learn how to cope. But I felt like when I first went through a lot of growth, and I mean, let me know if this sounds familiar. If anyone wants to, I know people are watching on here, and I'm like, wave, hi. But when you're coping, it kind of keeps you stuck down because you're barely just getting through. You're dealing with things on a level of, well, I got through that, but coping in itself is not healing. And in order to thrive, you have to go through some healing. Coping is, I love analogies too. So coping is like wrapping up that wound, putting a Band-Aid on it, and going, okay, my arm's still attached. I got it. We're good. I stopped the bleeding and I can go on. Right. And then healing is like, let's take off that Band-Aid and let's clean it out. And it might hurt a little bit, but we got to clean it out. And then once that's and that's where, I come in at, like, help you do that, because that's really painful to do by yourself. It's doable. But even I needed people to come in and help even more on the next level, even though I, quote unquote, know all the things I should do and whatever. That's garbage. Like, you need people. We need each other. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get through that. And then, like I said, survival, you have to first recognize that it's something that you want to move out of, something that is just not working anymore. You can be successful. You can have money, and you can have things, and everything can look a certain way, but deep down you're not happy. There's something missing. There's a sense of unrest. That's how you can kind of identify that you're not thriving. There's this want for more, and it's not out of a greed. It's just like, I kind of feel like, and please, if anybody like identifies with this, type a little yes, something in here. Let me know on my Facebook or whatever, because when you sit by yourself and you're laying in bed, going to bed, and you're exhausted, and you're just like, man, there's got to be something else. There's got to be something else. Like, this is not happiness. This is not, why am I not happy? You'll ask yourself a million mean questions, because your brain's really mean sometimes. We don't want to judge ourselves, but just notice those thoughts that are working against you. And then, like, in the morning, what's that sense of, here we go again. Like, what's the point? Those type of things are real good. Those are the loud indicators that, that we hurry up and we grab our coffee and we try to forget about that. But, and we grab our to-do list, but they're there. Those moments are there. And if you really are honest with yourself, you really see that, like, you're not thriving. To me, there's one other huge aspect of this, and why I named the group that I'll be starting next week. By the way, I should mention, be starting this is going to be a safe place, a private group for people to join to discuss some of this stuff. And I'll have workshops and things to learn of what you can do to not only move you out of survival, but like help you with anxiety and the current stresses that are going on right now. We have a plethora of things to talk about. So, but the other thing that kept popping up was, and this was started about a year ago for me, less hustle, more alignment. That led into the thriving. So I named the group Align and Thrive, because it took the two concepts that kept coming to me everywhere I looked. Those road signs were everywhere, right? And I put them together because it's really important to, oh gosh, you've seen the memes. The memes say hustle, gotta make that money and whatever. And if you step and ask yourself how that feels when you're hustling, especially I feel like my experience as a hairstyle, it is all about the hustle. It is seriously, you have to take everything that's going on with you, shove it down in a box, and get on the floor and be like, I'm so happy and I'm here for you. And I was never false with my clients, but it's just from a professional standpoint, you got to put it somewhere. And I couldn't resonate with that anymore. And not because, it's just, as I was shifting and getting these signs, like, it was like, this isn't working for you anymore. You're not good at doing things. There's no judgment. It was just a shift in energy. So
yes,
that hustle will keep you stuck. Hustle is basic survival mode. Hustle is, in my opinion, become more of a negative thing than a positive thing. And I'm not taking away from the idea of being a go-getter and following your dreams. I'm talking about the struggle part of hustle. The struggle is what keeps you stuck.
We had, my husband and I had this conversation about the difference between the word hustle and grind. And because I was using the term grind, like when I, kind of branched out and in quarantine started my own sort of like virtual health coaching and all that. And I'm like, I'm all in, this and that. And I'm like, and he said something that in the video game world, and I'm probably going to get this wrong for all my video gamers out there, your kids are probably going to watch this and be like, she didn't say that right. But I guess the term grind is like, when you do a level in like a video game, right? And it's hard. And you're like, okay, you do it like maybe 10 times. You're like, okay, no, now I know I need to jump there. Okay. So then the next time you do it, like, all right, I got that jump. And then like you might go, and then you're like, ah, shoot, that villain right there, he keeps getting me every time. And so like maybe on the 25th time you get that jump, you get that villain, and then the next time, so it's so he used that as a term that was like the grind of like going through that level over and over and over again, and then you perfect it, right? And now you can move on to the next level. And I was like, that is that's a perfect way of looking at it, right? That it's not, because I feel like hustling is different. It's almost got this like seedy, weird connotation to it that, you're out there and you're just taking numbers and getting through people, and it's very different. Very, very different. There's no growth.
Yeah, it feels disconnected. It feels kind of greedy in a way, like you're just trying to get every dollar, and it doesn't matter how,
right?
Like, do whatever you want to do to make that dollar, sacrifice yourself.
And that was me. I was working so many jobs and doing so many things, and I was so unhappy because I'm like, all I was concerned about was the money in the bank account, and how am I going to do this and that, and it was coming from such a place of fear rather than from that place of joy. And I was just like doing all these things and trying to make all this money. I mean, that's not like I was banking anyway. I don't know what I was even thinking, but I mean,
it's scraping for every dollar though, trying to be, from that place of fear. And I get that. And, I watch a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of stuff, and I've heard this talk so many times. Until you live it and you feel the difference. If you're bold enough to go, okay, I'm going to try that. I'm going to stop hustling. I'm going to stop worrying. I'm going to stop fearing. I'm going to start trying to line up. I'm going to, utilize the mindful, calm this survival brain down. I'm going to think about law of attraction and watch my words and not put out there the lack. And once you do that and everything changes, you actually feel it. I feel it like in my body. I'm like, whoa, this feels so different. And so hearing your story, hearing you say that, it's like I've heard that story before, and I didn't feel the same way hearing it now and hearing it from a place of understanding from my own experience. I did not know. It sounded great, but I didn't know what that felt like. And that's where that whole leap of faith stuff comes in. And like, okay, I mean, what have I got to lose? I've been working my butt off till I'm exhausted every freaking day. I've been, it starts to kill your passion for your job. It was killing it for me.
Yeah.
And I was tired, and health issues were definitely a major factor. Mm-hmm. And then I was resentful of that. And then I was hating on my body because I'm like, come on, I need to do this, Mm-hmm. And I just stop, And thankfully, I didn't have to go through some major personal, bad event. Even I used the quarantine, because it's bad enough in itself, but any event, eventually your life you'll hit a brick wall and you'll have to stop, whether it be from illness or a tragedy of some sort. Your body, your life, it will happen. Mm-hmm. And then you have the choice to go, do I want to get back on that horse and keep going? Or do I want to do something different? And through that, coming back to that whole hustle, I just didn't get it till I lived it, Mm-hmm. And it's life-changing. It's life-changing to have somebody go, oh, here's how you get your joy back. It's really that easy.
Yeah.
Not easy, but
well, I feel like I have to say this, and it seems strange that I have to say this to people, but like we only have one life. Like this is you, this is me, this is Shannon.
Yes.
In our physical body, in this world, in these relationships, in this physical time and space, we have one.
Yeah.
One go around. And
I say it too,
what
girl.
are we doing?
I know.
What are we doing?
I know. I agree 1,000%. I say it all the time. And it's funny, you do have to remind people. And I'm like, so when are you gonna start living? Because when are you gonna quit being mean to yourself? This is it. We get this one chance. And even if you believe in reincarnation, I always add this like to kind of be snarky, but I'm like, even if you believe in it, you don't get to remember it, so it doesn't count. Like
Right.
you're here right now. This is it. And do you want to just keep floating by like, oh my gosh, or do you want to be happy and take care of yourself and live your best life?
Yes.
So
What
yeah,
else are we here for? What
yeah.
else could we possibly be here for?
Mhm.
People talk about the meaning of life or what's the purpose. I mean, I can't think of any other purpose than to be your best version of yourself
Mhm.
and to try and leave the world slightly better when you leave it than when you got
Yeah, for sure, girl.
here.
I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah. So and that's why I really feel like I need to do this. I want to do this. It's not even work. That word has changed in my mind. I don't feel like it's work. I feel like it's just living, and it's just on a basic human level. It's important as drinking water is to help each other, connect with people. Like we are, I could go deep in that, but we'll save that. It's too early for that. But get all deep. But keeping it practical. The
I gotta
reason,
pay you to get that.
yeah, yeah. I just come over for some coffee, and I have a big enough office that can, But so we got all excited about talking about this, and then I realized I didn't really talk about what intuitive therapy is
Yes.
and why I chose a kind of um, that term and that path specifically. So, hairdresser, going back to school for psychology, did all that stuff. And each time I'm like learning new things, it's like another level that's unfolding and another layer, I guess. And you learn about what you want to do by seeing what you don't want to do. So I realized like, nope, I don't want to work in that area. No, I don't. And this just came about to, again, back to the whole like beginning of quarantine, I was like, well, I don't even have my bachelor's yet. What can I do? And I kind of was stuck in that, like, well, I'm not ready. I can't help people. And sometimes I just want to smack myself, like, what? Why are you thinking that? I already do. And so then I was researching like the ways and the avenues and how can I help? How can I help? I know I'm going to, but how? And then I came across a lot of information about, at first I was like, okay, life coach, got it. Um, and that seemed easy enough, but really, by the process of and through hiring my coach, we helped narrow down like what exactly I'll be doing. So I look at, when you study about the types of in psychotherapy, most people today use some sort of integrative, like they're combining different practices, different approaches in their practice. And this is no different than that. So, um, another thing that when you're studying psychology, you take like a million ethics classes. So I think that was tripping me up because I'm like, well, I can't if I not. No, I'm not claiming to be a licensed social worker or whatever. So it's not specific. So what my specific thing is using intuition and along with coaching, mentoring, teaching mindfulness and life skills. But the addition of, because for a while I was afraid, like, should I even use that? Is that going to put people off? And there's so many studies about the benefits of that. And in fact, if you even just call it a different word, professionals in whatever field use their nudges, their hunches to make decisions. And that's never looked down upon. But I guess I had this idea that if I say intuitive, they're going to think I'm a witch or something. And then I'm going to, and then you hear the word witch and you're like, oh my God, I was thinking it would put people off. Again, example of my brain going, nope, you can't do that. Can't do that. Mm-hmm. Nope, better back it up. And my coach is so freaking awesome because she's like, let's just kill that. Let's get that out of the way right now because that's garbage. And the way that people help is bringing their specific self to the table. And my experiences and what everything I've learned in life, that's how I'm going to help. And and I can't take intuition and Shannon and separate those two things. Like, it's just who I am. And anyone that already knows me is like, yeah, she knows some things. Like, sometimes, how do you know that? So I definitely the idea that using intuitive parts of into counseling is, I said that wrong. Hold on. It's gotta but I'm still waking up. But using that in with counseling and coaching is the extra ingredient that helps you build a deeper connection with people. That's the main thing that I utilize that for. And I used it when I was doing hair all the time. People they didn't know they got Reiki, they got like free healing, like, because I'm like, okay, we need to put this little good,
I know,
go out there, but
you feel so relaxed and refreshed when you go see you. I know. Yeah. Ron commented he cried in your chair.
Oh. Oh, I can't even see any of these. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry if I miss anybody because I don't get to I don't see all these that fast, but I'll definitely comment after. I'll go back in and have a little discussion with people after I get my second cup of coffee. Yeah. Or maybe I'll get tea. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so I just think that why take out my superpower? Like, it's part of me. It's a part of me that I love and a part of me that I, again, can't separate. So why hide that or try, that would be unethical to try to pretend you're something that you're not and whatever. Yes. So I'm just being my true self. And my true self is, if I hear something, that's going to help lead uncovering things. We can't really make changes if we're not aware of them. So this is like the little extra tool that helps unlock that and gets you aware of what's going on inside and why am I stuck? What's holding me back? Why do I keep running into the same issue over and over? Why am I doing that grind? Yeah. What do I need to know? So intuitive counseling helps, tap into that, because I feel like there's always, and even just, I'm fascinated with psychology in general, and, the idea of getting out of your own way. And mindfulness comes from, realizing that we have these like subconscious thoughts, and then even deeper is like the unconscious thought, and intuition helps to open that door. So I got to get some water now. I think I'm
So when we talk about intuition, I think some people maybe don't understand, like, everybody has it, right? To a certain extent.
Yeah.
And some people like you're gifted in the sense that you know how to tap into it, mm-hmm. and you know how to recognize it and see it in others. And, we're not talking about like fortune telling or,
correct,
psychic medium stuff. I mean, this is like different, right? How would you describe intuition?
Okay, so that's great because that's another one of the workshops I'll be doing is growing your intuition. Um, so intuition is, at the easiest way to just explain it is that gut feeling. But people get confused between it's like a voice that says, "Hey, don't do that," or "Yes, you should do that." And people get confused, I think, between the fear voice and the intuitive voice. They sound similar in your mind if you're not aware of it, if you're not paying attention. So,
Mm.
but the intuition tends to be a little quieter, and the fear voice tends to be a little louder. And it sounds silly, but I can help people get through like understanding that and practicing with that to recognize it. But we definitely all have it. It is part of uh, and that's why it's really important, I think, to recognize it and to grow that and to pay attention to that. Because if you don't, eventually it does you get sick because the survival brain um, produces all those stress, the stress hormones and everything. And if you're not balancing it, uh, uh, then it can cause you to be like unwell in many ways because
Mhm.
autonomic system starts flipping out and then your body goes into shutting down and all of that good stuff. But intuition is definitely something that everybody has, and it's just like we learn to turn it off for some reason, a lot of reasons, um, because it's very similar to, I think people put it in the same category as like faith, like acting on faith, or and so there could be reasons that they turn it off because they're like, well, I don't have that anymore, or I don't
Mhm.
believe, like, so they think it's based on a belief, and it's not based on intuition is not based on a belief. Although your beliefs get in the way, but it is just the thing that we have, that our internal guide. And I just posted a thing recently that says, "I told you so, sincerely, your intuition," because it's never wrong. And how many times have you looked back and go, "I knew I shouldn't have done that," or "I knew I should have went there. Oh, I missed out because like whatever." And
Mhm.
we've all done it. We've all said that. And when you go into paying attention to that, it gets easier and easier. You just have to get out of your own way up here. And
Mhm.
I liken it to a feeling that's in your gut because, I mean, we do actually make hormones in our guts, and that's basically where that's coming from. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It's something that everybody has and can um, cultivate and utilize, and get. It's like getting to know a friend that you haven't talked to in a long time.
Yes, it's like I've also heard it termed as your inner being.
Mm-hmm.
So like call it your soul, call it your true identity, your inner being, whatever. But it's that part of you that is not affected by, like you're saying, the fear, the limiting beliefs that have been put in your head, the
Mm-hmm.
conversations that you've grown up with in your life, the trauma, the things that you've
Mm-hmm.
experienced. So your inner being is sort of like above all of that, right? It's sort of like you're saying, this friend that travels with you through life and
Mm-hmm.
knows what's best for you and is connected to your source, connected
Mm-hmm.
to the source of all things, right? The higher power, if you will.
Yeah.
um, and so it's really learning to listen to that person who's like living inside of you, that
Yeah.
is saying, like, screaming, like, stop doing that, or no, go
And
over
yeah.
there.
Yeah. And and I still have moments where I don't listen. It's because we've been trained, and our minds get in the way. Our minds tell that to be quiet, even though that intuitive part of yourself is not affected by, it's like the one place that's not affected by any trauma or any hardship in your life. It's not affected. It still knows the truth regardless. It's like, yeah, your brain is telling you this, but the truth is this. And when you practice hearing that, you're like, oh, that's right, because it is
Mhm.
connected, and even Buddhists and, they're, whenever they would talk about like going inner and, meditating, you think about that. When you hear about like meditation, you have this image in your mind of this Buddha, like, meditating and
Yeah.
going inner, but really what they're doing is going up and tapping into source and being open to the truth coming in instead of this brain going, nope, 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 nope.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Quieting that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
My
no
friend,
matter, yeah.
oh, sorry. Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, no matter how much you, no matter what you think, though, no matter how limiting those beliefs are, or whether you realize them or not, it doesn't matter. The truth is the truth, regardless. So you can always, you can stop and put it all down and say, okay, I need to tap into the truth. I need to listen to my intuition. I need to, go there, and it's ready. It's just a matter of you going, okay, stop. And then,
Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Having that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just going to say, I haven't done it yet, but I've been thinking about doing sensory deprivation, like a float. They call it float.
Mm-hmm.
And in our area here, we have this great place called Float 60. And I know they're popping up all over the country. So you can probably find one within an hour of yourself somewhere. But I have a friend, Missy, who works there at Float 60. And she said that someone had come in and kind of described like the sensory deprivation, like what happens to you as your inner being or your soul gets to come out and play for a while.
Yeah.
Because you're not like, I don't know, you could just like have a thought, throw it away, have it, and you're not like putting all this sensory information into your body so that your inner being can actually come out and play and experience.
I've been wanting to do that too. Since like 2 years ago, and I just haven't done it. But I kind of think that might even help when people are starting to, if they want to start a meditation practice, because it's really hard at first to sit quietly and, not itch and move, and, and I'm a face toucher. So like, it takes me a while. I have to like sit on my hands for a minute and be like, calm down. Because you still have so much, I mean, it gets easier, but with time, but at first it's like, how do you stop this brain and my body from, doing stuff? So that's really cool. That's actually a good idea. I'll be like, let me try that, and might be recommending that to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been wanting to go there. So that's really cool idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good description.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Shannon, tell us about how you've got this group that you're launching, Align and Thrive, and how people can find it, because it does start next week, but if people watch this podcast like a month or a year from now, they're still going to be able to find it and go there. Yes. And join you and your community and get tapped in. So talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so I have my business page on Facebook. It's just Shannon Heater. If you go to Facebook / Empress Energy 777, that will take you to my business page. And I'm starting a website, but it is not done. Like, it's out there, but if you look now, it has all the garbled, mumble jumble text that you just add in. So, but that will be up soon. It's really easy. ShannonHeater.com. It's coming, but it's not ready. And then once you're on the Facebook group, there'll be links to that on my website as well. But on the Facebook group, if you go to my main page, then you can find the group, and it'll say Align and Thrive. So I can't wait to get that going, because that's going to be that open forum where you can just share and find your tribe and discuss and get your questions answered, and say, just get some of that good old healing stuff that I just recently had. And I'd love to share that with other people as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I'll be doing that for sure. And I I talk about this a lot with my coaching, and I've been coaching people in groups and stuff. Like, what's the benefit? What's the benefit of being in a group like this?
Oh, what's not the benefit? So the first benefit is that you're going to be blessed in ways that you just didn't even realize. The benefit is a safe place to share. We spend a lot of our time hiding, and this is where you can come out of hiding and you can discuss with other people that are like-minded, that have the same issues. Whenever you have a problem and you talk to somebody and they like get you, and you're like, oh my gosh, me too. That in itself is healing. That in itself is comforting. So it's going to be a space where that can then take place as well. Also, you'll get access to information about any workshops that I am doing. That's where it's going to be at. That's where I'll be announcing things. So if people need anything, I'll have, group things that I'll be doing with smaller groups, workshops, but then also one-on-one. So that's where you're going to hear about it. That's where you're going to find that information. So that's good. It keeps you in the loop. You won't miss anything. Just turn on notification, and then you'll know what's going on.
Yeah.
It'll just come right to you. You don't have to search for it. So, and then also I'll be sharing any, I'm not even kidding you. I've met some amazing women, and I'll be sharing some things about what they do that I don't do. I like to pretend that I'm Wonder Woman. I am not. I don't do it all. So what I don't do, I can bring in guests, teachers and mentors in different areas. So whatever people might need that I don't offer, I can offer it through that way as well. So that's the plan.
Awesome. All right. Good.
That's exciting. I'm so freaking excited.
Yes.
It's amazing.
I can tell. I mean, I haven't seen you in a long time, like face to face, but you do. You look wonderful. You look like you are just beaming with energy and light, and you're just letting that light into the whole world. And so I love it. I love that. I also honor you for, like I said yesterday, saying yes to yourself and saying, I want more. I want more. And I know it's out there, and I know I'm worthy of it. And you're going after it. And to me, that is like the ultimate example of living the playful life. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Charles Wayne Hart. Do you know Charles? He says,
I do.
Amazing soul and exciting spirit. Charles, you're 100% right. She has such a beautiful soul. I feel like our inner beings are like dancing together right now.
We're like, yay, party. I love it. There's no there's no distance in the spirit, so
That's true. Yeah. Our spirits, they don't need to social distance. They're having a good time.
They're like, yay. I love it. I'm so excited. And then, if anything comes up in the future, where we want to have a specific talk about a specific subject, I am definitely look forward to doing something like that as well. So as this
that'd be great.
Stages, but who's not excited about a new baby? So
yay, I know, right?
I'm so excited. Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Shannon, for being here so much. I definitely appreciate you. And we'll be talking, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yep. All right. Appreciate you as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. Bye. Oh my gosh, that was so amazing. Thank you, Shannon, for being here. And I know I am just I'm so energized. It's just filled with great light talking to her. And I know you will too. So guys, I just really, a couple takeaways from this. Say yes to yourself today. Hire a coach, find somebody, a mentor, somebody to guide you through that process in your life. Once you're ready to say yes, and once you do, and you take that leap of faith, the whole world is going to open up for you. So be sure to get connected with those people who can take you to the next level. And Shannon is definitely one of those people. So check the comments down below. You will find how to contact her. I've got some direct links on how to connect and find her. And if you are watching this on Facebook, be sure to like and subscribe to Ron Harlow Media to get all of the programming that happens here and to know what we're doing out in the community, because we've got some great things that we're doing out there as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to click like, subscribe so that you see videos in the future. I don't just do the podcast, I also do lots of exercise videos. I have different recipes and just different little tidbits. There's long videos, short videos, all sorts of things to keep you entertained and keep you living your best and most playful life. So I will see you next week. Have a playful day and stay healthy.